On this vote, the yeas are 265, the nays are 124. 2/3 being the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business on the question on agreeing to the motion to recommit on H.R. 3884 offered by the gentlewoman of Arizona, Ms. Lesko, on which the yeas and nays were ordered. The clerk will redesignate the motion.
Motion to recommit on H.R. 3884 offered by Mrs. Lesko of Arizona.
The question is an agreement on the motion to recommit. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Gentleman from Arizona seek recognition.
As the member designated by Ms. Kirkpatrick pursuant to HRES 965, I inform the House that Ms. Kirkpatrick will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Grijalva pursuant to HRS 965, I inform the House that Mr. Grijalva will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Washington seek recognition?
As the member designated by Dr. Schreier pursuant to HRES 965, I inform the House that Dr. Schreier will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Schneider of Illinois pursuant to House Res 965, I inform the House that Mr. Schneider will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As a member designated by Mr. Doyle of Pennsylvania, pursuant to House Resolution 965, I hereby inform the House Mr. Doyle will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
Good morning, Madam Speaker. As the member designated by the Honorable Mr. James Langevin of Rhode Island, pursuant to House Resolution 965, I'd like to inform the House that Mr. Langevin will vote no on the motion to recommit H.R. 388 for the MORE Act of 2020. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Mukersel Powell of Florida pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Mukersel Powell will vote nay on the motion to recommit. Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Hastings of Florida pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Hastings will also vote nay on the motion to recommit. And Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Payne of New Jersey pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Payne will also vote nay on the motion to recommit.
Illinois. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Illinois seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Rush pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Rush will vote no on the motion to recommit.
I can't do all. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New Hampshire seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Pingree pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Pingree will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Ms. Lee pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Lee will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Mr. Kennedy pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Kennedy will vote no on the motion to recommit. And as the member designated by Ms. Mang pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Mang will vote no on the motion to recommit.
From California seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Brian Higgins from New York pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Higgins will vote nay on the motion to recommit.
This is the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition.
As the member designated by Mr. Welsh of Vermont, pursuant to H.Res. 965, I will inform the House that Mr. Welsh will vote no on the motion to recommit.
What purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Representative Lowy, pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Representative Lowy will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Lawson pursuant to H.R. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Lawson will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Ms. Castor pursuant to House Resolution 965, I inform the House that Ms. Castor will vote no on the motion to recommit.
Thank you.
Gentleman from Missouri seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Andre Carson pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Carson will vote no on the motion to recommit.
The gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition.
As the member designated by Dr. Ruiz of California pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Dr. Ruiz will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Ms. Capter of Ohio pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Capter will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Connecticut seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Wilson pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Wilson will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does a gentlewoman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Frankel pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Frankel will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Ms. Bonamici pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Bonamici will vote no on the motion to recommit. And as the member designated by Ms. Brownlee pursuant to 965, House Resolution 965, I inform the House that Ms. Brownlee will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman for Virginia seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Rooney pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Rooney will vote yes on the motion to recommit. As a member designated by Mr. Liu pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Liu will vote no on the motion to recommit. As a member designated by Ms. Barragan pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Barragan will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Mr. Lowenthal pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Lowenthal will vote no on the motion to recommit. As a member designated by Ms. Moore pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Ms. Moore will vote no on the motion to recommit. And as the member designated by Mr. Cohen of Tennessee pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Cohen will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as member designated by Congressmember Napolitano, pursuant to House Resolution 965, I wish to inform the body that Ms. Napolitano will vote no on the motion to recommit.
Tennessee. For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the member designated by Mr. Costa pursuant to H.Res. 965, I inform the House that Mr. Costa will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Oregon seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Lipinski of Illinois pursuant to House Res 965, I inform the House that Mr. Lipinski will vote yes on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Price of North Carolina, pursuant to House Res 965, I inform the House that Mr. Price will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
As a member designated by Dr. Barra pursuant to House Resolution 965, I inform the House that Dr. Barra votes no on the motion to recommit.
Yeah. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Deutsch of Florida pursuant to HRES 8965, I inform the House that Mr. Deutsch will vote no on the motion to recommit.
Mr. Farrell votes no by proxy.
New York. For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
As a member designated by Chairwoman Eddie Bernice Johnson pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Chairwoman Johnson will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Chairwoman Zoe Lofgren pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Chairwoman Lofgren will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Chairman Jerry Nadler pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Chairman Nadler will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Congressman Jose Serrano pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Congressman Serrano will vote no on the motion to recommit. As the member designated by Congressman Brendan Boyle pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Congressman Boyle will vote no on the motion to recommit.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Michigan seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Peters of California pursuant to H-Res 965, I inform the House that Mr. Peters will vote no on the motion to recommit.
Okay, everybody, this is your 2 minutes. Good.
Mic check, 1 2 3 4, mic check, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Which one of these, which should I grab? I'm good. Are we good? Can everybody hear me? Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Greg Sofer. I'm the United States Attorney for the Western District of Texas. I want to thank you for being here with us today. I want to introduce the other folks who are behind me. We have Stephen S. Whipple, who's the Drug Enforcement Administration Houston Division Special Agent in charge. We have Richard D. Goss, who's the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigations Houston Field Office Special Agent in charge. We have Jennifer Stevenson, Assistant Chief with the Austin Police Department. We have Todd Radford, the Chief of the Lakeway Police Department. We have Commander Brian Wukash of the Cedar Park Police Department. And also up here are Assistant United States Attorneys Mark Marshall and Robert Almonte, who are from my office. I'm going to reach around here. This and a number of the other items that are on this table are poison. Worse yet, many of the pills before you are camouflaged as legitimate and regulated prescription medication. When unsuspecting college kids and other drug users put these pills in their mouth, they are playing Russian roulette. They are gambling that the drug dealers did not place lethal doses of drugs like methamphetamine or fentanyl in these pills. Tragically, many times their gamble goes horribly wrong and they overdose and sometimes die. If they do survive, they risk becoming addicted to these highly toxic and life-destroying drugs. Just as an example, the long-term effects of meth on a human body and brain are nothing less than horrific. Imagine you're a college student taking what he or she thinks is prescription Adderall or Xanax and instead getting hooked on methamphetamine or fentanyl or some other dangerous opioid. This dangerous business must be stopped. Today we're here to announce the arrest and in federal indictment of 13 people, including current and former University of Texas students, for allegedly distributing and selling, among other things, LSD, psilocybin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine pills to University of Texas students and others, both here and in San Antonio. The federal grand jury indictment, unsealed today, charges all 13 of these individuals with conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. Some of the defendants are also charged with money laundering. These charges are the culmination of Operation Spiderweb, which began in 2019 when federal, state, and local law enforcement officers noticed a disturbing increase in the distribution of counterfeit controlled substances, specifically LSD, Adderall, Xanax, oxycodone, and other pills in the Austin area. Law enforcement learned that thousands of dosage units of these counterfeit pills were being distributed in and around the West Campus area here in Austin, and noticed a corresponding increase in overdose reporting. Make no mistake about it, these are not pills being carefully manufactured and tested by sophisticated pharmaceutical companies. In fact, 2 targets of this investigation overdosed and died during the course of the investigation. Investigators discovered that 23-year-old Varun Prasad of Austin was the leader of a distribution network that sold MDMA, LSD, psilocybin, which is also known as hallucinogenic mushrooms, counterfeit Adderall, counterfeit Xanax, and other drugs on a wholesale and retail basis. The counterfeit Adderall contained methamphetamine. The counterfeit Xanax and oxycodone contained fentanyl and other dangerous opioids. Law enforcement investigators also discovered that Prasad was laundering his drug proceeds with the assistance of a local real estate investor named Benny Danishu. The laundered funds were used to purchase real estate, which in turn was used by the drug trafficking organization for safe houses, stash houses, grow operations, and a hallucinogenic mushroom grow operation that spanned 3 different states. Search warrants were executed yesterday. They resulted in the seizure of hallucinogenic mushrooms, counterfeit Adderall, counterfeit Xanax, LSD, and other drugs. Authorities also seized over $100,000 in cash, which is some of which is in front of you, firearms, and a number of ballistic vests. A sampling of these items are here in front of you today, but they represent a very small fraction of the dangerous drugs that were peddled in our community and a very small fraction of the illegal proceeds from drug trafficking. In fact, investigators estimate that the overall sales of the illegal drugs sold by this organization exceed $1 million. What is particularly disturbing about this case is the fact that what appear to be extremely well-educated and talented people who had many opportunities in life to choose from instead focused their business acumen and education on dealing illegal, dangerous, and counterfeit drugs. And they sold much of this often camouflage poison to our unsuspecting students and other individuals in our community. Today's indictment demonstrates that they went into the wrong business. Now they face between 10 years to life in federal prison. We are currently prosecuting a related case as well. In that case, investigators discovered that former University of Texas San Antonio professor Rose Rodriguez Rabin supplied Prasad with counterfeit Adderall laced with meth on numerous occasions. Her co-defendant, Brandon Sims, distributed counterfeit Adderall pills to UTSA students and others along with Rabin. These defendants used a consumer app similar to DoorDash to market and sell counterfeit and other illicit drugs. Ignoring the widespread sale and abuse of these substances is not the answer. We need to educate our communities about the dangers inherent in counterfeit drugs. People should know that when you buy a pill and take a pill from someone on the street, you have no idea what you are putting into your body, and you can become addicted to a dangerous drug, or worse, die from an overdose. It's important to remember that the charges described today are allegations. These defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty in federal court. I want to thank the Austin Tactical Diversion Squad, whose work resulted in today's announcement, a task force which includes the DEA, IRS Criminal Investigations, FBI, the Austin Police Department, the Lakeway Police Department, the Cedar Park Police Department, the Texas National Guard, and the Travis County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank them for their tireless efforts to protect our community and bring these defendants to justice. I also want to express my appreciation to the individuals standing behind me today, who are leaders in the law enforcement community and represent some of these agencies. Finally, I want to thank law enforcement in general. These days, our police are too often vilified, defunded, and attacked. This case shows that without robust and effective law enforcement, our society is simply less safe. At this time, I'm going to turn the podium over to SAC Whipple from the DEA to say a few words.
Thank you, U.S. Attorney Sofer. My name is Steve Whipple. I'm the Special Agent Charge for DEA here at the Houston Division, which covers the Austin region. Yesterday's takedown is the product of a lot of hard work by the agencies that you see standing up here. This case, this investigation was started by the Austin Police Department by a detective that brought this case to our Tactical Diversion Squad and was the lead investigator for this very complex long-term investigation. So my hat's off to the Austin Police Department for bringing this case and for helping us pursue it to its fullest completion. Mr. Sofer talked about a lot of the issues that we saw in this case. It's a multi-state investigation. It's complex. These kids, they're all well educated. We saw 8 current or former UT students that were members of this organization. We saw mathematics majors, chemistry majors, a psychology major, business majors, and they decided to turn their talents into this illicit operation. They were pretty sophisticated about how they did it. They used social media. GroupMe is a real common platform that they used to arrange the sales of the narcotics. Sales happen both on campus as well as off campus. They used Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, other apps as well as cash for handling their cash. We have a fairly complicated money laundering scheme. And so as you can see, there's multitude of crimes that happened along the way in this investigation. And it's only because of our task force environment, having the FBI, having IRS, having Austin PD, Lakeway, PD, having these components in our task force and the expertise and the resources that each of these departments bring enable us to do these kind of cases. The point that we really would like people to take away from this investigation is when you send your kids to college and they think they're buying a prescription pill, Adderall, to get them through a finals exam, high chances are that it's not Adderall, it's methamphetamine. They're buying Xanax, they think. It's manufactured to look like Xanax, but it's going to be fentanyl. And parents are seeing their kids come home from college messed up, and they don't understand why. The kid said, "Mom, I took an Adderall." Turns out it was methamphetamine. It's highly addictive. Fentanyl, highly deadly. As Mr. Sofer mentioned, we had 2 defendants die of overdose in the middle of this investigation who would be in jail today had they not overdosed and died. So our message is, if you buy it on the street, it's not going to be pharmaceutical. This organization did sell some diverted pharmaceutical narcotics, but they couldn't get enough. And so they went to the manufacturing route, like Professor Rabin and what she was providing. That was all methamphetamine it was pilled out and with a clandestine pill press and put out on the street as Adderall. Interesting other part that we saw is a large amount of LSD and psilocybin. We raided and are seizing a psilocybin grow and processing facility outside of Dripping Springs. It was quite a complex operation. We took about 33 kilos worth of psilocybin yesterday, and that was just a small piece. They had a ventilation problem, and they lost about 2/3 or 3/4 of their crop, what we understand, and so they had to destroy a bunch right before we showed up. So this is making it to our college campuses. It's not just here at UT or at UTSA. This is a problem that we see in every college campus across the nation. And we're just asking that parents and students pay attention to what you do. Don't buy this stuff on the street because you're not buying what you think you are. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Richard Goss, who's the special agent in charge for the Internal Revenue Service.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody here also, and I thank all the work that the law enforcement partners have done in this. And so, good morning, everybody. My name is Rick Goss. I'm the special agent in charge for IRS Criminal Investigations Houston Division, which we cover Austin and all of Western Texas. I'd like to start by saying that yesterday's arrests marked a serious victory in the Austin area and for the people that live there. I just wanted to take a second to explain IRS's mission, IRS Criminal Investigations mission in the narcotics investigation arena. So the role of IRS criminal investigation is simply to follow the money wherever it goes and to identify the ringleaders and facilitators of those organizations and to disrupt the illicit financial gains that are the lifeblood of those organizations. And our agents remain committed to our mission of dismantling narcotics trafficking organizations and putting those people that run those organizations in jail where they belong. And with that, I just want to turn it over to Chief Radford for a few more comments. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Todd Radford, Chief of Police of the City of Lakeway. I'm currently the president of the Central Texas Chiefs Association as well. I was honored to get the phone call to be able to come here today and represent local law enforcement, both the Austin Police Department, Cedar Park, Travis County Sheriff's Office, and obviously ourselves, as we all have officers that are engaged in this and other types of investigations like this. But to be part of this task force, to stand with our federal partners and our state partners, county and local partners, in a time when we are challenged in law enforcement. If reform is necessary, I think this is a great example of what that looks like for us. We come together with one vision, one mission, and that's to take the bad guys off the street and to make our communities safer. And I think this case shows exactly what that looks like. So I'm very proud and honored to represent not only the city of Lakeway, but local law enforcement as we stand along our federal partners to say to you today that this case is just one of a small number of cases that makes our communities safer. Thank you, and may you be blessed in your holiday season. I'll now turn it back over to the city U.S. Attorney.
So we have time for some questions. Anybody have a question? So we're not going to get into the details of all that now. Some of this is still under investigation. I'll just tell you that two of the people who likely would have been defendants in this case didn't make it that far because they overdosed on these kind of drugs.
Greg, takedown yesterday, were they on campus or were they all in West Campus area?
I'm going to turn that over to Mark Marshall, who's Assistant United States Attorney who's prosecuting the case.
We ran warrants in West Campus in two separate locations, off campus, but in the 24th Street, 45th Street area here in Austin. Another one down south a little bit. The psilocybin grow was out off of Circle Drive and Thomas Springs Road in the Oak Hill area. We ran another warrant in Portland, Oregon, where we got a full marijuana grow connected to this particular organization. That's where the warrants were primarily run. No, we did not run anything on campus. Most of the activity was the West Campus area. Some of the sales occurred on campus, but none of the particular warrants were run on campus.
Any of the sales and all that surveillance were they videotaped?
I can't get into the specifics of the investigation at this point. A lot of that is still sealed.
Even knowing what you were expecting, would it advise you to change the quantity?
Well, the quantity up front, we had a pretty good idea. The first investigation and first enforcement action we took in 2019 involved 14 kilos of alprazolam tablets. That's 22 pounds. That's a lot. So we had a good idea that we were engaged in that kind of organization. The psilocybin grow surprised me. It's the biggest grow I've seen. All the psilocybin came from these guys and the grow. As the U.S. Attorney indicated, Rose Rabin was arrested in San Antonio. She was one of the suppliers producing Adderall tablets. That's all public record. I think they ran stories on that down in San Antonio. That involved about 21 kilos of meth and tablets. The investigation, and I cannot comment on that. Austin Police Department got information on one of the targets, and that's how it started back in 2019. I can't comment on that specific activity. There was an enforcement action that involved a search warrant, and that's where we got the initial 14 kilos of Adderall. Well, two guys died. I'm not sure of their connection with UT right now, and I couldn't comment on it anyway. Some of the people we're talking about may be witnesses, and I can't identify them at this point. No. Within the last 6 months. Yes, they were all engaged in activity in those particular areas, and we were doing activities out there. But I can't comment on those specific activities. A lot of it is still sealed. I don't have the specific numbers, but if you go back to March of 2020, I think the Williamson County Medical Examiner, among others, had a press conference and talked about their observation of increased overdoses in and around the Austin area, including Williamson and Travis counties. some were, some weren't.
That some of these kids were buying this stuff thinking that it was 80s and all that. And then another stuff, the LSD, they had to know, hey, it's LSD. But some of this stuff is being marketed as cutting down the things like that.
You're absolutely correct. And that's the whole marketing ploy with these, what we call counterfeit pharmaceuticals. People think they're taking medicine, something that a doctor has prescribed, that a pharmaceutical manufacturer has made and a pharmacist has dispensed. None of this is that. This has been made in somebody's garage with a clandestine pill press and with inexact measurements. That's why you'll see somebody take what they think is a Xanax and overdose and die, because it's fentanyl, or maybe even worse, carfentanil. But it's being marketed to these people, to kids, to anybody who's going to buy it on the street as a pharmaceutical. Our Office of Diversion expends a great deal of resources to try to control the diversion of legitimate pharmaceuticals. It's a closed system. We're supposed to be able to track a pill from when it's manufactured to when it's been dispensed to a patient. So we expend a lot of effort in preventing that diversion outside of that closed circle. And as a result, we see this kind of happen, where it's clandestinely manufactured and marketed as legitimate pharmaceuticals.
How does that help or hurt an investigation? Does that create a bigger scope model, or does that feel sociological that it makes it harder to follow?
Actually, yes to both. It leaves a trail, and it does complicate things. I mean, any steps that you take to thwart being found out to do something complicates our job. It makes us get smarter about the applications and how to work them. It is a tool of efficiency for like this organization, and using GroupMe and Zelle and these other apps. It's a lot safer to get, Zelle me your money versus hand me, $200 and I got it in my pocket and I get hit on the head and be robbed. So there's efficiencies for them, efficiencies for us, as well as complications for us. I haven't taken a look at those, which ones they are.
Yeah, those are little bites candy.
Those are the THC edibles. THC edibles. Yeah. There's almost like a drugstore, all kinds of different. I mean, we saw actual cocaine, we saw actual meth. The vast majority of what's being sold though are the pharmaceuticals, and they had recently moved into the LSD and the psilocybin because of some overdose deaths and things like that. I use that term. It's like a storefront. It's like a drugstore. They had all kinds of stuff for sale. Well, there were multiple locations. Everything from like the apartments that where they lived, they sold out of, they stashed as well. The operation down in the psilocybin grow and manufacturing, there was a lot of science in that, and there was a lot of effort and thought and money invested into that process. And because you have to really control the environment, because if you get outside spores or whatever, it can kill the grow. I mean, so it was pretty complicated. Now, a lot of them, what they lived in, is pretty nasty, But that particular manufacturing facility for the mushrooms, they had to control the environment, temperature,
I think we can take one
everything.
more question.
Well, where do you go from here? I mean, are you
So Yes, there's more to do here. There's more to do in San Antonio, Houston, all of our college campuses. Yes. And that's why we're hoping this message resonates at home with parents, with students. And we're going to continue these investigations.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
You're fine.